Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers. Class is officially back in session, and we are here for another guest speaker episode, and I am so excited to have Aristotle Jones back again. He was on our Social Injustices Socratic Seminar. That was probably, Aristotle, 2 months ago now? 3 months ago? Has it been that long?
My perception of time is really warped at the moment. Like everything kind of just blends into itself. So like probably, yeah, that sounds about right.
This is coming from the same person that like thinks the world is flat, so it's totally fine. So
I'm not gonna speak on that.
I'm kidding. We'll get into that. Welcome back to the show, my man. I'm like I said, so thrilled to have you here and definitely chop it up one-on-one. I know we had a lot of moving parts the last time, so. I mean, like I said, we've been riding with you for a while. We reviewed Walk Away with Lucy Frost on one of our last Boston Artist reviews. I believe it was Artist Review 5, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. Again, it all gets jumbled. But yeah, you've been on the music kick for quite a while. You got a new album coming out called The World is Flat. I'm excited to dive into that and talk about that a little bit. The first thing I wanted to ask you, though, you are a very unique artist in a lot of ways to me, because I think that you pay attention to a lot of really kind of intricate details when it comes to your music, and some things like I've noticed just in listening to the album. Just one thing I've talked to you about is specifically how you kind of layer your vocals in the background, kind of in like a harmonious way with like female singers on hooks, and they really play to like, again, very nice melodies. You also like have a lot of different influences when it comes to sound, like you do, obviously hip hop, but even a little jazz and neo soul, and even like you get into some rock and alternative and things like that. So I'm kind of curious, like, where did your sound come from? Like, I think it's very unique. I think what you're doing is very unique. So really just interested in like, what artists you're kind of influenced by and where you kind of got your sound to begin with.
I think it's really just like, I think my music kind of evolves with my music taste, and like anyone who makes music knows that like you have to, like, you're taking influence from the stuff that you hear, like regardless of how much like you want to say that you're original, like what you have to do to it like is like put your own spin on it. And that's what I've been trying to do, like trying to take like influences from like contemporaries and also like old school stuff. Like I don't know, like contemporaries, I'm talking like Mac Miller, Kendrick, J. Cole. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like the corny fallback answer, but like I don't know, just people like Joey Badass and like Corday and shit like that.
Yeah,
like
I can definitely hear some Mac, definitely, like sometimes in your delivery, I can definitely hear. But I always just find with your music, like the instrumentation, the musicality that you play with, I think it's like I said, I hate to kind of use the word again, but very unique to what's going on in today's mainstream music. And so I wonder for you, like instrumentally, like and where do you kind of find inspiration for that? Like how do you kind of craft some of this production?
Well, a lot of it honestly comes from just like messing around. Like I got into like production before I got into rapping. That was like my kind of my first love. And then I was making beats and had no one to rap on them. So I kind of took up like the Aristotle Jones moniker and started rapping on them myself. But I think like a lot of it is owed to just messing around and just trying like weird shit and just failing again and again and again and again, and then eventually just finding stuff that sounds cool and then replicating that and iterating on that, and using that, like adding things to your arsenal as you go, as you like make mistakes. Because I have like I use Ableton like exclusively to like make beats, so I probably have like 800 projects on like my old laptop that I got like sophomore year of high school, and I'd say like 100 of them are like okay. Like, and then like 50 of those are like all right to be songs, and then like 20 of them are good, like in various stages of almost done at any time. But like it's really just like not, I don't know, like it's really, and also I gotta owe a lot of it to the people that are around me, because I'm at Berkeley, and like I'm just surrounded by incredibly talented and like unique people, like in and of themselves. Like I have this like access to like a collaboration that I never would have had before. Like you can definitely hear like the difference between like Zathura and my old stuff, which is pretty much just me like sitting in my room, like working on beats and then recording it. Like with my engineer Nick, I gotta shout him out. He's crazy. He's why half my shit sounds like it does. He's a wizard. Um, but I think once I got to Berkeley, once I started meeting people, and not even just at Berkeley, like the Boston hip hop scene, once I moved out here, and like I like hearing ideas from other people and like bouncing stuff off other artists and like collaborators, not just like other rappers or singers, but like guitar players, like bass players, other producers. I've been like rapping on a ton of other beats and like getting inspiration from stuff I've been hearing from them. Like it's really just like taking in everything, all the sensory data you have, and then just like compiling it into something unique that you think will stand out in like the modern sound, but like also staying true to like your story and like your sensibilities, because it's like authenticity I think is like really key and like the kind like music especially like that I'm trying to do, like because I'm not out here like talking about like gang banging and shit and like because like that's not my story. Like I'm not acting like I come from something that I don't. Like I make music because I love it and like I understand that it's like an art form that's historically like a black art form, and it's from like oppressed minorities, but like I want to not be appropriating that. I want to be like adding to it and like giving back to the like the culture that has allowed me to like find something that I've become so passionate about. Like it's all about like progressing it forward rather than just being reductive and like using it for your advantage. And I think that's like very important for especially like white artists.
For
For
sure.
sure.
You like when you came on and we talked about it on our, like I said a little at the beginning of the episode, when you came on the social injustices Socratic seminar we had, which is on YouTube, by the way, on our channel for anybody to check it out if you missed it by chance. But we talked about this a lot on that specifically. I don't want to go too much into that because it's out there for people to watch already. But you know, you and I are, you know, two Caucasian men from the North Shore of Massachusetts. So like for us to be embedded in the hip hop scene, right, you have to kind of pay, like you said, pay that homage to the people that kind of brought it to us, right? And
100%.
understanding like, you know, where that culture comes from, respecting that culture. But I like what you're saying though, because you want to also add to that culture as well. It's not this constant take. I want to try to, and I see that with you because, you know, like I said, instrumentally, topically, even like you're not a typical hip hop artist, right? I almost consider you as almost like an alternative hip hop artist in a sense. And I think that's a great thing because I think you have a very unique, and I keep using that word, but it's very, very different than a lot of what's out there right now, I think. And I think that's fantastic. And a couple other things you mentioned too, that I wanted to touch on, which, you know, you said sort of, you were talking a lot about, you know, just trying new things and, you know, not everything you're doing is perfect and that's fine. Right. I think that's a great testament for anybody, you know, regardless of what you're doing in life, whether it's making music or, you know, maybe you're a teacher or coach or whatever it is, right? You're going to try, like for me, like, you know, and when I'm in the classroom, I try a new lesson every once in a while, man. Sometimes it goes great. Sometimes it flops. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? But it doesn't stop you from trying it.
Yeah.
And for you, it's like, I see that you're like, hey, you know what? I have all these people around me that I can kind of, you know, bounce ideas off, kind of take, you know, potentially influences from. I think it's really, really, I love what you're talking about because you're talking about listening, right? As an artist, you're talking about listening and kind of observing and taking from that and growing there. So I think that's huge. And I love that. I think that's just like, you know, in essence, a great life skill. But I kind of want to go back to a little bit of what you're saying about being at Berkeley, because you're the first, really, I think the first Berkeley student that I really know, like on a personal level, but also the first Berkeley student we've definitely had on this show. So talk to me a little bit about, you know, Berklee College as a whole. I think it kind of has this, you know, stigma to it that you guys are all like, obviously like super musical and potentially like, you know, not nerdy. Nerdy is the wrong word, but you kind of.
No, it's the right word. It's the
stigma, right? In a sense.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm like very grateful for the opportunity to go to Berkeley because I'm pursuing my passion of doing like production, and that's really what I want to do. Like, and I want to get better at that, and I want to become like the best, or not like it's kind of cocky to say the best, but like I want to become the best I can be. Like I want to reach my personal ceiling, you know.
Yeah.
And like Berkeley, it does have kind of the reputation of being like kind of nerdy and kind of like I don't know, like I love Berkeley and I love the people, but like there's not a lot of like hip hop shit going on that I've seen. I've been like trying to reach out to a lot of like artists in the Berkeley hip hop scene, which there's a vibrant scene, but it's like small, and that's because I've also seen like a lot of Berkeley kids talk about like kind of the lack of diversity and like African American students. Like that's kind of why you like see like if you look at like the ethnic breakdown. Dude, I'm ragging on Berkeley now. I shouldn't. I love Berkeley. I love going there. It's very fun. I love all my friends and I love the teachers because some of them are kind of trash. But that's every college, and not like it's online right now, which is kind of shit. I gotta say, because it's hard.
How is that? Not to cut you off, but like, how is learning music online? I can't imagine that would be anything that would be super. You know, I feel like that wouldn't work personally. But as a teacher, like I know how hard it is to teach online in general. So how do you? I mean, how's that going? Like teaching music online?
It's like not super fun.
Nah.
It does not work out super well.
I feel like it would have to be more hands-on, right? Like
yeah, no, that's how I am as a learner too. So that's even worse for me because I'm just sitting there, and I'll be the first to tell you, like I'm not the most like musically inclined, like when it comes to like theory and that kind of shit. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I barely know how to read music, like, and like that's the thing. Like people assume everyone at Berkeley is like. Well, I take back my earlier statement. That stigma is around, but like it applies to a very select minority because the majority of Berkeley kids are just like music nerds who love making music and like smoking weed and playing music with their friends and just like going to house shows and shit. Like and there are people who are like kind of stuck up, and like the institution itself is kind of high and mighty sometimes, but like when it comes down to it, it's a great college. They're giving people a great education. Like, and I got people around me who I never ever could have met like otherwise. Like there's no other way that I'd be meeting these people, and they're like, it's changed my life. Like there's no way to like get around that.
Right. I'm sure that the network is just like you're kind of incredible. You have all these probably people at your disposal, and in order to help, like you even talked about earlier, like help shape your sound a little bit and kind of help influence a lot of things, which is in essence, I mean, part of college in its own right. I mean, a lot of it is networking and building relationships and having some people that you can fall back on. You know, I mean, like I still to this day, you know, every year, I mean, didn't this year, unfortunately, because of COVID, but you know, every year I always go back to my college, because I obviously was an English major, and they do like my college, Framingham State, they have like an English major like night every spring, like for people that are graduating to kind of hear some people that are like, you know, in like what they're doing with their degree in English field. And like, I always go back because, and actually always go back and speak at this thing because, you know, it's like, it's not only am I giving back, like, and kind of giving my story and how like I got to where I am, but you know, it's helpful to reach out. Cause that's what people did for me. Like when I was a student, you know, I had people that were graduated already, or, you know, that I just kind of knew in teaching from, you know, being at Framingham, and they, you know, offered out their services and their phone number. Like, hey, you know, hit me up if you ever do you have any questions on this? You know what I mean? And so it's just, I feel like that's constant motion. Like that is the one thing I know college right now, it's expensive. Maybe people don't see the value in it that much, but for this, not only the social network, but really more so the professional network too. It really is important.
Berkeley, half of Berkeley is the people you meet. Like they call it Berklee College and networking. Like it's
I like that.
It's literally people that you meet that'll like change your life, because it's, even if it's like not necessarily you who's gonna like explode and like take off, it could be like your friend or like this person you met through someone at Berkeley, or you could get a job at like a studio through someone. Like it's just like shit like that would never have been attainable otherwise. And like that's I feel like I kind of shout on it like unjustly, because I'm like very glad to be there. Like it's
Listen, like this is the way I see it too. I think you and I would probably agree with this. It's like you can love something but be critical of it as well. I mean, that's what we like. In essence, that was what the social Injustice's Socratic seminar we had was, you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I don't think you and I were sitting there saying we hate America or anything like that, but it's like you can, and that's what I think. I think that's actually the most patriotic thing. I think this blind patriotism is not really the way. Like, I think in order to be patriotic, you know, I'll just use this example. It's like, you know, you can say, I love America. I love where we've gotten to in terms of the progress we've made socially, but we still, it's important to recognize, okay, we still have a ways to go though. And you can be critical about that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's okay. Dude, I've been critical of, you know, my college as well. I've been critical of, you know, jobs I've had in the past. It's just like everything kind of comes with its, you know, with, I don't want to say negatives, but I mean, there's just everything's not perfect, man. And we can't.
And if you're not like actively trying to change something for the better, then like you're kind of like complicit in it being bad.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't take I don't take what you said bashing. I kind of led you. Honestly, I probably like nudged you into it anyway. So I just again, like, you know, stereotypes are real, right? And obviously people use them a lot in terms of like we talked about, you know, with race and ethnicity and things like that, and maybe like where you came from in terms of like, you know, geographically speaking, right? Like, you know, mass holes, that's a stereotype in itself, right? So, you know, that's just what I had heard as my only experience with it is just that. But there's so many different stories that go into everything, like Berkeley College. It's not just, you know, the few people that might give it its stigma or its reputation.
The funny, like, I actually, like, there's a funny story. I was at an Earth Gang concert, and I was at the Earth Gang concert at the Lower Middle East a while ago.
Same one I was at, but okay. I saw them at oh man,
House of Blues.
Nope, not House of Blues. How am I? It's a club, and I don't like Royale.
Oh, got you.
Not a
Yeah,
huge fan.
I saw them a couple, like, in like, I don't even, like, last year, beginning of the year. And I had like front row tickets with a couple, or not like, but it was like we got in Matter and we got to the front because it was like standing room only, so we were like right at the front. They're like right in front of us. And we were getting like crushed by the mosh pit, and like in between songs, like Dr. Dot's got like the mic, and he's like, oh, y'all in here can make music. Like, you don't need to go to like Berklee College of Music. And I was like, oh, we go there. And he's like, we got a couple of them in here. And he like rolled his eyes, and I was like, fuck. Yeah, like, cause I was baked as fuck. So I was like, I heard Berklee College of Music. That's it. So like, I was.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. I feel like I said, I think it gets it's bad rep, but I feel like if you're in it, you're immersed in it, right? I'm sure there's a lot of, like you're saying, you see the benefits of it. So it's not.
Kenny Beats went to Berkeley. Kenny Beats everyone loves Kenny Beats.
Yeah, heck yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of, like you said, a lot of talented, famous people have been, you know, to Berkeley and things like that. It's not really about, you know, I think where you come from necessarily. It's just like, you know, what resources do you have? How do you use them, right? Because somebody that doesn't go to Berkeley, you know, I mean, how many people or a music college at all? I mean, there's been 1,000,001 musicians that have blown up without going to school for it, right? 100%. But somebody could be super talented and like just take it for granted and take Berklee College for granted and not utilize everything around it. And they're just like, oh, you know, I'm going to be successful because I'm dope. And it's like, it's not always the case. So no, it really is, like they say, in essence, college is what you make it, quote unquote, right? So I mean, it's true, right? No matter where you go. But I'm curious, real quick, like what is the day to day? Obviously, not like take COVID out of it, right? Like, what's the day to day sort of like what is it like day to day being a Berklee College student, like during regular times? Like, what does a normal day look like potentially?
You got like the classes are kind of structured weirdly where there's core music that you have to take, and then like there's liberal arts that you have to like take over the course of your Berklee career, and then like ensembles, and then private lessons. So like a private lesson is whatever you go there for, like primarily as your instrument. So I do voice. I actually got in for piano, but I switched to voice. And then like an ensemble is just a credit, like a performance credit where you play with like a bunch of other people in like a specific kind of genre, or like I can't my English is not working correctly, but yeah, no, dude, it's been so long. I haven't done like actual Berklee in a minute, but yeah,
Alright.
it's core music and then liberal arts that you kind of just tack on to the end. It's a lot of walking around Mass Ave, dodging crackheads, skateboarding, Dunkin' Donuts,
Normal call.
marijuana, the Esplanade.
Well,
That's about it.
normal college stuff.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. Honestly, aside from the music, it's kind of boring. Like there's no party scene other than like shows. So you just kind of hang out in like small groups and like jam and make music, which is like honestly fine with me. Like that's
Yeah.
right.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Dope, man.
I'm happy.
Yeah. And you mentioned to me the other day, and I thought I saw this, and I was like, I when I first saw it on Instagram, I kind of, or maybe it was, I don't remember. I think it was Instagram. Yeah, I saw it on Instagram initially. Kind of just like, I was like, oh, that's a sick house, and then I just kind of like dismissed it. But you go to school with David Ortiz's daughter, is that correct?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. She's a good friend of mine. Yeah.
You were telling me a pretty interesting story about being at David Ortiz's house. Pretty
Yeah.
recently.
I literally like it's kind of bad, but I went down to Miami like last week.
Don't- Anybody listening to this, don't.
I had a couple friends who like, we didn't do shit. We didn't go anywhere. We stayed in, like smoked weed and like hung out at a pool. But I had a friend who was staying down there, and another friend spontaneously flew out, and I was like, they were like, "Oh, Ethan, you should come down," and I was like, I don't have a plane ticket. Like, they're like, buy one, and I bought one for 5 p.m. that day at like 1. I flew out, and then like yeah, like Alex Ortiz, who's David Ortiz's daughter, is like at Berkeley in my year. I actually met her for the first time down there, but like we'd known of each other and like had like spoken on like FaceTime and stuff before. But I know her boyfriend Zay, who's like a good friend of mine and another Berkeley rapper who I'm looking to collaborate with very soon. And my friend Tom, who she's Shmeek, he did like a Dream and like Shark Shirt and the beats on those. And we ended up going over to her house, which is David Ortiz's house, and pretty much just jamming in his living room. Like I was playing piano and like kind of freestyling and singing, and like we had like my friend Tom on like finger drum, like MPC type thing, had like some live keyboard and a guitar going. It was pretty chill. They were watching the Red Sox, and Big Poppy was just kind of like sitting like 15 feet away, just kind of vibing out, and it was nice. Like I met him for like a second. I was like, but other than that, like he didn't like interact a ton because like I'm sure like he sees a ton of people come through there because like his kids definitely like people. Man, that place is crazy.
Wow.
I'm very grateful to Alex Ortiz for having me over because she's dope, and I can't wait to make music with her because she's incredibly talented, like wicked talented. It's crazy. Like that family produces some crazy talent. Like, and I hung out with David Ortiz's son for a little bit. He's very chill. He's also he's gonna be a pro ball player one day. Like I'm calling it. He's gonna play, and he wants to play for the Sox. So we were yucking it up. It was chill.
I mean, I hope like we need the Sox. I mean, I'm not a baseball guy. I've been seeing this. They need some help. At the time we're recording this, I think they just got off a 9-game losing streak, which
it was 10. It was 10.
It was 10. Whatever. Honestly, though, like if there's a year to stink in sports, this is probably the year.
Yeah, I think it's like who cares?
You know what I mean? Like in any sport. I mean, as we're recording this, like I mean, we'll see how the Bruins and the Celtics end up shaping up. I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give this on a big sports tear, but yeah, I thought that was so crazy that like I saw it when you were there. Didn't really like think like twice about it. I was just like, oh, I don't know where he is, but that house is freaking sweet. And then we were like, obviously we were catching up the other day, and you were like, oh yeah, I was at like David Ortiz's house. I'm like, that's where that was. Like, are you kidding me? It's crazy, man. I would have been.
I was just in awe the whole time, like, and I was just so grateful to be there because they were so humble and so nice and so welcoming, like just very, very great, down to earth people, and like it was such a fun experience just getting to do that because like he told me like 4 years ago, like, oh yeah, Ethan, you'd be in freestyle rapping in David Ortiz's living room in Miami. I would have been like, you're smoking crack.
Yeah, literally.
That's impossible. Like, what are you talking about?
No way. I mean, like, I'm thinking about it just like right now. I feel like it's like the equivalent of like me going to do a podcast at like Paul Pierce's house, right? And having him be like 20 minutes.
It was surreal. It was surreal.
It's just crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
like an icon like David Ortiz, like growing up and like everything that he meant to like our city, obviously. And then like you obviously factor in like the Boston bombing and you know his just very touching speech after
Dude,
that.
he was
Yeah.
such an anchor for the city and like really held it down. Like he did so much for Boston. Like I feel like he's easily one of the most beloved Boston sports figures, if not the most. Like
Oh yeah,
of my generation.
yeah. He's got to be top 5 at least. Our generation, he's like top probably like you can count him on a couple of things. I think it's like Paul Pierce, you know, him obviously, David Ortiz, KG. I mean, who else do you like throw in that? I mean, Zdeno Chara. Like, I mean, that's really like who you're probably throwing in that mold. Tom Brady, obviously. I don't know how I forgot him, but
Don't say his name.
I'm trying to forget.
Don't say his name.
Was he Voldemort? He must not be named. Nah, I mean, I don't hold like super like ill remorse for Tom Brady. Honestly,
Nah, he's doing whatever. It is.
It is what it is. I'm on the Cam Newton train now. We'll see.
Yeah, kill the Cam. Let's go.
We'll see what happens with those guys for sure. And but speaking of sports, all right, and old Boston athletes, Mr. Kyrie Irving, who has claimed that the world is flat. So I'm curious about your album. I've listened to it. I've gotten a chance to listen to it before it releases, which obviously we're recording this before it drops. But if you're obviously tuning into this podcast, the album is out everywhere now. So you can go stream it on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, just wherever you get your music. Go check it out. It is a fantastic piece of work. Congratulations. Big time, Aristotle. I love it. Curious why the name title, The World is Flat. Where did that come from? We haven't talked about this yet, so I was very curious when you sent it to me, but I think I have an idea, but I want to hear from you. And I talked a little about the artwork too, because I think that maybe plays a role.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about the album.
It's actually a funny story. Like, I kind of started as like a concept album idea between my friend Brian and I, like sophomore year of high school, when I like first started getting into like production, because he was like, we were gonna rap it together and like be like a duo, and it never kind of like came to fruition that way. Like he left my high school and went to a different one. We're still great friends, and he really got me into rapping to begin with, and I love that guy. Like I owe like everything, all my success to him, like when it comes back to it. But like we had this idea for like a conspiracy theory kind of like gritty, archaic, weird, like alternative hip hop record, which definitely evolved over the years of like thinking about it. But I really kind of cemented the idea of making it into an album when I was walking around like Harvard Square, like a couple of years ago in the middle of the summer, with Lucy Frost was with me, good collaborator, Berkeley.
Shout out Lucy Frost. I hope you're listening to
Lucy Frost. Yeah,
I am a fan of Lucy Frost. But go ahead.
We were walking around Harvard Square. I was like really high, kind of unsurprisingly. And we came across a group of flat earthers on a street corner, like live streaming on Facebook. Okay. And like protesting. I don't know if they were protesting, but they were just kind of shouting out like flat earth shit. And I thought it was hilarious. So I was like, yeah, let's go. The earth is flat. And they're like, yeah, like we love the youth. Like they're seeing the truth, like come out. And they invited me into like their live stream, and I was like hanging out with them for like a little bit, and I was just like, they were like it was so funny, and they're like saying all this like crazy conspiracy nonsense, and I was just like, yeah, dude, 100%, like, yeah, we got to show them like George Soros, like the wall on the ice caps, like totally. And then like I was just like having fun because it was so funny, but then they like let me go, and this dude with a camera came up to me, like this big old like shoulder mount camera, and he was like, oh, I'm like a Harvard documentarian, I'm doing like a picture on these guys, like, can I interview you? Do you actually think the world is flat? And I was like, no. Of course not. Like it's
you should have just been like, yes, let me tell you a little bit about it, like just troll the shit out of it. That would have been
but it would have been really funny, like, because I never got to see the documentary because I think I gave him the wrong email because I was like really stoned. He said he'd email to me.
I'm not surprised by that. You like, I remember
he just didn't put me in because it was just.
He was like, yeah, this.
He might have cut it. But yeah, no, that was so funny, and just like that experience, and like us having like that inside joke was like, I need to make this into an album,
That's awesome.
and I had that art done like I think three or 4 years ago.
Wow.
Before I had any of the songs even started or like conceptualized, and I was like, this cover is so cool that I need to create an album that lives up to this cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't stop, and I won't release it until I do. And that's kind of was like my driving force behind like just refining it, because I had so many versions of it like throughout like the years. Like it saw so many different changes, and like my engineer Nick will tell you, like it's been a long time in the works.
Oh, I believe it. I will say, obviously I said just before, big fan of this project, loved it. I was joking with you a little bit because I was with my girlfriend at the time when you sent it to me, and I actually, we never talked about this, by the way, and I wanted to bring it up because I thought this was so funny. I was like, oh, like I'm gonna play it with my girl or whatever, like on our way to, I think we were like going on a date or something like that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play it for her, blah blah blah, like as a joke, because like usually when people send me, I will say this, I am one of the luckiest men in Boston, because all you dudes just and people, guys, whoever, right? All you people like that we're close with send me like your unreleased shit, and I feel like I was telling this to I don't remember who I was saying this to, actually. Maybe it was Washi, but I was like, I feel like a little kid on Christmas, except like I'm getting the presents at like Thanksgiving. Like that's how I feel, you know what I mean? Like you guys all sending me this shit like way before it comes out. I feel like I feel so lucky, but I almost feel at the same time like there's like a responsibility that comes with that. Like don't let that leak. Like don't send it to
I
anyone.
trust you, bro. I feel like the people I share it to are the type.
No,
Plus, who's gonna be like, oh, Aristotle Jones leak? Like I need to get that shit. Like I don't think I'm like I don't like self-deprecate, but like
you're too humble. But anyway, so I was joking, like, oh, I'm gonna show it to my girl or whatever, and you're like, I don't know if it's like that, if that's the vibe with the song, but maybe one or two. And I showed her the conversation. We were crying laughing over that. We were just like, I was like, not what I meant, but like we'll go with it. But anyway, so no, these are not baby making songs. Just for everybody,
that's the next record. Just got with the next record. Yeah, no, that's gonna be a vibe.
That's after you do the one with Hero, right? The EP that he wants.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna release some shit in between because I'm gonna take a little bit to get this next one right as well. But I'm gonna be doing some stuff in the meanwhile, especially with Hero. Like I cannot wait to get this shit started.
I think that's a huge. I was talking to him the other day. We were shooting the shit, and I was saying, like, he was telling me a little bit about it. I was just like, great marketing play, right? Hero and the Philosopher. Like you could do a lot with that, you know, Aristotle Jones. But not man. Anyway, so long. I digress. But the album's fantastic, guys. Seriously, make sure you guys go check it out. I'm a big fan of a lot of songs on this thing. I'm telling you this a little, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the episode, that I love the songs where you got a female vocalist on the hook and you're kind of playing your vocals are playing a little bit in the background, and it's a very harmonious thing, and it makes for such an awesome like ear grabbing melody on a lot of these tracks. And for me personally, like the 2 Lucy Frost songs, was my shit. Love those. Like walk away and Jumpy, like those are my personal favorites. Curious what your maybe like your favorite song or a couple of favorite songs are off the album, or maybe the one that maybe means like the most to you potentially.
I think production wise, my favorite's probably Land Rover, because just like the amount of time and like little stuff that beat has that like I just obsessed over. Like I listen to that beat and like I turn that song on and like I listen to the beat. Like I don't listen to myself, and I listen to Mari when she comes on because she's an amazing singer. But I listen to the beat. Like that beat, I am so proud of. But like overall, I'd say like Caligula's got a real big place in my heart because I love that song. I'd say
Maria Yoki is another one. She kills both Land Rover and Caligula. She kills both those. I mean, you did a great job of picking female vocalists that I've never heard of, but 2 like super talented and really adds so much to the tracks. Like really becomes like a really full-fledged, fleshed out song like on all of those tracks. Those are the ones where like they really pop for me.
Yeah, well, I'm just lucky to have like be blessed with so many like amazing vocalists like all around me, because like I literally just like hit them up like for anything, and they're down to work, which is like so nice, because they're so good. Like you just listen to it, like
Yeah, guys,
I
check
don't like, it's crazy. Like it sounds like anything you'd hear on the radio, and like they're hitting this stuff like my engineer would tell you, like you Lucy Frost, Mariachi do not need like auto tune, bro. Like
none.
that shit's like near dry. It sounds.
They're so good, both of them. I mean, the whole album. I'm a huge fan. Again, like I said, congratulations. I mean, I think it's like, is it one of those things? Are you almost relieved that it's out now because you've been working on it for so long and you can kind of
I'm ready to start working on other stuff. Like I've been sitting on this because I've been sitting on this for longer than I even anticipated, because my distributor DistroKid wouldn't let me post it for like 2 months because of like an internal processing error where Caligula was getting flagged as like a duplicate song, where it's actually just like the album release of a single. And I was back and forth in contact with their like help management, which was very unhelpful to say the least, until like one day they just emailed me and they're like, we fixed it, like 2 months later. And I was like, oh, cool. I guess I'll post my album now. So thank you, DistroKid, for allowing me permission to post my album. Yeah, I'm very glad.
Loves Berkeley. He loves DistroKid. He's not. It's just it's nothing to do
Not
with.
sponsored. Can you tell?
This episode is not sponsored by either, by the way. But although, hey, it'd be great. Berkeley,
I'll take them. I'll say some.
Berkeley DistroKid, hit us up. I mean, I'd love to have you sponsor.
They're both great. They both allow me to do what I love, and they both empower me to like try new things and reach new people. So
that's what you need, man. You need that kind of that energy around you for sure. But
love.
So besides the R&B baby making love ballad project that you're going to drop, I'm totally kidding, by the way. What do you, and then obviously we've mentioned a little bit with Hero, like there could be something in the works, but like what do you got? Like, I know the album just dropped. I know you're probably just like, all right, take a breath potentially, but you know, what are you planning on potentially doing next? Like, what are you looking into possibly putting out there to the masses for your next project or singles? Or are you looking to just kind of collab? Or are you looking to just take a break for a while? Like, you know, where are you kind of at this point?
Well, I'm like always down to collab. Like anyone that is like good, like if you sound nice and you're chill and you hit me up, I'll make music with you. Like it doesn't matter if you're big or small. Like I love collaborating with people, because like whether it's just like even like writing a hook, like getting on like a verse, or like sending you a beat or like some shit like that. Like I just love like hearing other people and what they interpret, like that's different from what I would interpret, because then like that's how you learn, and like that's how you grow and like shit like that. But I have an EP coming up with Shmeek that should be done soon. He lives out in Arizona, and I was really looking forward to seeing him back at Berkeley, which is online now, unfortunately. So that's gonna be a little bit of a delay, but we're still working on that. The lead single, Like a Dream, is already released off that, and I got another one coming up right after the album release. I'm actually like 8 or 9 songs deep on my next album already. Like I'm like, and then I got probably like 6 or 7 that are near done. So I've almost got like the next record completely done.
Oh shit. Wow.
Yeah. So I've really just been trying to like, quarantine has been giving me a great excuse to just sit in my room and like completely gonz out on music. Like I'm not proud of the amount of time I've sat in front of my computer. And like,
Trust me,
it's been good. It's been good because I've finished it like in a ridiculous amount of music. And like, I'm not one to just like sit on stuff. I wanna get it out, and I wanna have people like hearing it. It's not doing me any good if I'm just keeping it to myself.
Sure. No, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Like, I have been on my computer doing podcast stuff so much in this quarantine. Like it's been, I mean, I've been doing other things too, but like it's been a main focus because we've kind of like, we've grown a lot of things, and we upped the ante on the video content and blah, 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 blah. And people that are fans of the show, they've heard this a million times, so you get it. But it's like, you know, I'm the same way. It's like when you're sitting on something, I want to get it out there too. Like I'm sitting on a couple of things right now as well that I'm been working on, and I've been itching, like it's really that constant balance of like itching to get it out there and finish it, but also like you want to like don't want to rush
Make
it.
sure it's quality work.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's
Oh
like
yeah, dude. It's a fine line, and it's easy to get caught up on either side. But honestly, a lot of it comes down to just being able to recognize, like, step back, like take a like better, like bigger look at it, and like, is it done? Like, because
right.
if it's done, then you can ruin it by by adding stuff to it. Like, you can definitely overcomplicate shit that would be way better if you had just left it.
Mm.
So like, yeah, no, it's definitely that balancing act. And I feel like that was something that I definitely took into account when I was going through this album. I'm like, honestly, I like all the music I create.
Well, dude, like I said, I think you're on a great trajectory right now. I mean, like I said, I'm a huge fan of you, a huge fan of your sound, not even just because you're from North Shore, Mass. I rep you either way. The music just kind of speaks for itself, people. So much love to you, dude. The album is linked in the description for Spotify. But like I said, if you're on any other streaming service, go check out that project. The World is Flat by Aristotle Jones. Go check it out, guys. Support this man. Support what he is doing for the Boston scene as a whole, Massachusetts scene as a whole. My man, you've been awesome. This has been a great episode. A lot of laughs, a lot of just great information and just sentiments and stories.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much for this. But I can't let you go quite yet. Anybody that knows the show, you know what's coming. Our last question. It's the dream song scenario. And again, I'll structure it for you, Aristotle Jones. You have a song. You can make a song. I know that sounds crazy, but you can make a song with anybody. All right. Dead or alive. Okay. And you can work with, we'll start you off with maybe some producers, right? You can pick a couple of, I started this off with like, pick a producer, but some people are like, oh, I want, a certain drum pattern from this producer or a melody from this producer, or whatever it is. So I'll be lenient with you people now. Couple of producers that you want, and then you get someone to do the hook, and you get 2 guest verses and then you get your own verse. So 3 verses, a hook, and the production. Dead or alive, dream song scenario, can be absolutely anybody. What are you going with? Go.
2 producers, J Dilla, Madlib. That's like super easy, like straight off the top. Like, like those are my 2 favorite producers of all time. Classic. I love, dude. Madlib is just god status. And J Dilla like really influenced a bunch of my production. Like when I was just starting out, and like going back to like even like he's super fucking advanced. So like just everything he was doing back when he didn't even have access to like half the shit we have now is just it's mind blowing. That dude is incredible. For a hook, maybe like Dominic Fike. I really like Dominic Fike.
Yo, how you feeling about his album, bro? Because it's getting mixed reviews. How do you feel about it?
I thought it had some good songs. It had like a couple skips for me. Like I liked his earlier EP a little bit better, but he's definitely like got a ton of potential, and he's definitely going places. Actually, I met him too. I met him outside a club in Paris one time, like last summer. Yeah.
How did that happen?
I was at this nightclub in Paris, and with a couple of my friends on like a graduation trip from high school, and we left the club, and Dominic Fike and a big old posse of people was just outside. We were like, holy shit, it's Dominic Fike. And he's like, holy shit. And we just like, yeah, no. So I met him, and like it would be super dope to like one day we get in like the studio with him and like recant that, because that would be fucking hilarious.
Wow.
But yeah, he'd be great on a hook.
I'm feeling that album, by the way, and people of the fans of the podcast know, like, I had Politics and Violence. It's at the mid-year. It was my number 4 song of the year. Like,
that's a good ass song, bro. That's
so yeah. I'm high on that album right now. I really, I like really thought it was a brilliant piece of work. It's one of my favorite albums of the year. I know Needle Drop didn't give it a great review, and I know it's kind of gotten mixed bag, but for me personally, I think it's fantastic. But
I liked it. I thought it was solid, and I really enjoyed a decent amount of cuts off that shit. Like it's definitely, a lot of them are on my liked playlist now on Spotify.
I think like I almost put you in the same category in the sense where it's just like it's genre bending. Like so I think you guys would play together well. I think you guys would do something super cool.
That'd be sick. So like I like him, and then if I could get another on the hook, it'd be Daniel Caesar, because Daniel Caesar is just God.
Like,
2 guest verses, you said?
sure, you get 2 guest verses. You get a verse and you get 2 guest verses.
All right. Mac Miller,
Love it.
because I just want another Mac verse in the world. That's all. Like, I don't even give a shit if it's my song. I want it anywhere. I just want more Mac Miller music. Damn. Like anyone, I feel like with this lineup, like low key, like Denzel Curry would kill some shit, and like working with him would be crazy. But like, that's I gotta say, like, dude, it's so hard. Oh my god, like I could say so many people. Like, I want to do a song with fucking Kendrick Lamar, but like, of course, that's hyper unrealistic. But like Denzel Curry would be fucking dope.
This is timeout. This is the dream song scenario. You can do whatever the heck you want.
All right, then fucking Kendrick Lamar, dude. Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller. Let's do it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I feel like with what Denzel is, obviously he made The Wall. He's like, I mean, then we got
that guy.
Freddie Gibbs and Mad Lib up this way. I pointed to Jake by accident. I don't even know like where I'm at anymore. But yeah. So, and then Kendrick's right there too. So I mean, I got it all on The Wall. But anyway, I think Kendrick fits a little, like in terms of like fit, it fits a little bit better with what you said. But again, it's the dream song scenario. You can be whatever you want it to be. But I'm a huge fan of Denzel. Like he's been an artist, I think, that has just kind of progressed like so much and on just like a steady incline.
His evolution has been incredible to watch, and like he's only got up to go. So like I'm excited to see where he's headed. Like he's
so talented. I mean, like it's unbelievable. What really like did it for me with Denzel, really just as like a whole artist itself, is when he did the Rage Against the Machine cover. I thought that was just the greatest thing I'd ever seen. Like I was sending that to everybody. I have a friend of mine who he's a little older. He's like in his late 30s. I actually shout out Eric Kanan. Actually, he's wrote for our blog for in the past, but yeah, he's one of our writers. Has his own podcast. Go check it out, guys. TNC podcast. But he likes more old school rap. He's not really into like the newer stuff. Mm-hmm. He's a big metal fan. Loves Rage. And I sent him Denzel Curry's cover of Bulls on Parade. Mm-hmm. And he texts me back. He goes, "Who is this man? I need to hear more." Like he was like to the point where when he was at Boston Calling, like he really badly wanted to go see Odessa, which was like later in the night. But I was like, bro, we gotta go see Denzel Curry because Denzel Curry's at like 4. And he's like, perfect, let's go see Denzel. Dude, we mosh pit. Like he was having a freaking field day. I know he's like a big fan of Denzel, like loves Taboo, like thinks it's a great album. And I'm like, I'm pumped because I'm like, I got him on a Denzel, because I feel like people that it's funny because younger like fans that don't really like aren't aware of Rage Against the Machine, I feel like they were like, what is this? Why is he doing this? Who's Rage Against the Machine? And then they're like, oh wow, I like now know like I opened up to this entire new like genre category of music, versus people that have been Rage Against the Machine fans forever, like just like, who's this Denzel dude and how does he sound so damn good over this? Like, you know what I mean? How does he, get the inflections of Zach De La Rocha so well? And
dude.
Great.
Well, that's the dream song, like in my wildest dreams, because it ain't never gonna happen.
Hey, who knows, bro? I've been saying this since like it is my if I never do anything else the rest of my life, if I could do a Turntable Teachers mixtape with all the dream songs, bro, like that would be I would retire. That would be it. I would just sell that and it would be that. It'd be pretty great. But yeah, Aristotle Jones featuring Daniel Caesar, Dominic Fike, Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller with production from Jay Dilla, and oh my god, what was the last? And Madlib. Oh my god, and Madlib. So
that is a disgusting track list. Like, that is that'd be the best song of all time, bro. Take me out of it. That's still like, oh my god, just let me listen to that music.
Seriously, right? Oh yeah, no, don't even. We need you in it. You're the one that thought of it and made it happen. So we need you in it. But dude, my brother, thank you so much for being here, man. This was a fantastic episode. You were brilliant, and like I said, guys, I've said it before a million times. Check out the album, linked in the description. Follow him on Instagram at Aristotle Jones, correct? On Instagram?
Aristotle.Jones.
Aristotle.Jones. We will link that in the description as well. Make sure you follow him for all of the latest that he'll have out. He's got obviously you heard a lot in the works. So if you like the album, make sure you follow him on Instagram, follow him on Spotify, wherever you get your music. and stay tuned for more. And I'm sure we'll have more with Aristotle Jones in the future. I don't think this is the last you're going to see of him in our catalog. That's for damn sure.
Love to hear it, bro. I'd love to be back sometime. Thank you so much for having me.
You are always welcome, dude, as you know. And if you're a fan of Aristotle and just coming on to us for the first time, you can follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram. Go to our website, www.turntableteachers.com, for all the latest blogs, podcast episodes. It's all there. Merchandise, we got it all there. We got a lot coming on the website as well, so make sure you guys go check that out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Mike. This is Aristotle Jones with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn